Hey guys, hey, Jehovah's Witnesses report on one another. Let's talk about this. Why? Because many witnesses who are actually married to each other, so there's a married couple, and one will actually report his wife or vice versa. The wife will report her husband just simply for doubting, just basically expressing that, oh, I don't think this is right. I think here they make a mistake, or I don't believe this doctrine. And they report one to another, knowing very well that the consequences will bring really bad for themselves and the whole family, and maybe even for their spouse. Why do they do this? Why would a spouse go and report to the elders about doubts or questions or some material that the other person is reading, some book? Why would they do this? Well, many take this as a betrayal. They feel like, oh, this is my husband. He should be on my side. And yet, look what he did. He reported me to the elders. I can't trust him. He's not my friend. He's not what I expected. I believed that he would be on my side no matter what. And yet, look what he did. And vice versa. It could be also a wife that did it. And then husband felt betrayed because, like, oh, this is my wife. She should be in subjection to me. She should be supporting my decisions. And yet, instead, she chose the organization and the elders and the loyalty to them versus to me. And I can't fight this. I don't know what to do because it's kind of fighting against this. It's futile. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of things. First, one, why Jehovah's Witnesses are doing this. Second, how we should process this information internally before we start feeling angry or resentful towards them. Okay. So, number one, why do they report? Well, they report for three reasons. Number one, they report out of fear. Yes, out of fear. They're afraid that if they don't report this sin, they're part of it. They're covering it up. And if they're covering it up, they are themselves guilty. So if they find out, let's say somebody's smoking or somebody's taking drugs or somebody had sex outside marriage or went to another church, whatever it is, that is a really bad sin in Jehovah's Witnesses book, and they don't report it, then they automatically feel like they partook of that sin and they're guilty of it as well. What does that mean? That means when Armageddon comes and you help to cover up somebody else's sin, you can die because you believed that nobody will know, that you can try to hide it. Now you became guilty of it, just as bad as the person that did it. So they actually report out of fear. I know because I'm speaking from experience. I felt it myself. I discovered what my best friend was doing, and I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore. You have to go and report yourself to the elders. I'm giving you 1 week. If you don't do it, I will do it. The same thing my own family did to me. We talked about my questions, my doubts, my interpretation of some Bible scriptures, friendly at a campfire on a camping site. By the time I got home, I had an email. Report yourself to the elders. I'm giving you 1 week. They report on their family members all the time. Now, do they do it out of fear all the time? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They could do it for the second reason. They can actually think that it's good for you. What does it mean? That means they see you as spiritually weak. They see you as spiritually ill. And if you are sick, you need a doctor. And it's just like us. If we would see our friend who is sick and maybe they don't know what they have, maybe they're feeling, oh, this is fine, I'll get over it. And you know they cannot get over it without medical help, without medical treatment. You know it. So you're like, okay, I know you don't think that you need professional help, but I know you need professional help. And they themselves will go to a doctor and say, hey, listen, this problem has this person, my child, my husband, my wife, whatever, has this problem. Please help them. And that's how they feel. They feel this responsibility for the fact that they care about you. They actually love you, and they think, oh, if you are spiritually weak, if you're spiritually sick or ill, the best people to deal with this are elders. They can help you. They can see that something's wrong. They have the guidance of the Holy Spirit, the governing body in the organization. They are more equipped to deal with these things. We're going to transfer this to them, and they will help you out. And they could be very sincere, because at this, when you think about it, they don't want you to die either. They know Armageddon is coming. They're convinced of it. They don't want you to die. They don't want to be in paradise without you. So they could have a really good motive, because they think this will help you. This will help you to increase your chances being in paradise. And there's also a third reason. And the third reason is the scary one. The third reason is to protect the congregation from you. This is where they see you as a gangrene. This is when they see you as a virus. They don't see you as ill. They see you as somebody who's contagious. This is somebody who spreads the disease in the congregation. This usually happens with apostasy. This happens when somebody starts questioning, having their own opinion, when they see things differently. They're saying something does not add up here. How come they have made so many changes? This used to be true. We used to preach this. We used to disfellowship people if people thought differently. And yet today's fine. New life changed it all. What else that I'm believing? What else that I'm teaching as truth tomorrow will be changed with the new light, and it will turn out to be inaccurate or upgraded, or simply new light came in. And just with that thought, just because they see you as a threat, they will flip on you and they'll say, you need to be removed, not only from the congregation, but from my life. These are the people that you should really worry about, because they don't care about you and your well-being whatsoever. We've heard story after story when the husband would express to his wife the doubts, the problems, the stuff that he read or saw himself, went to work, came back, and the house was empty. Brothers and sisters, people that he loved and cared about, came to his home and cleaned everything out. Wife took everything, or vice versa, or the husband took everything, because they need to protect themselves spiritually, and they view you as an enemy, and they will do whatever it takes to protect themselves. Even if you don't try to spread any of your thoughts, they just see you, oh, you are a gangrene, a spiritual gangrene, and we need to cut this off. These people are that they don't have your best interests at heart. So that's why I'm saying, because many people feel like, oh, I've been betrayed by my husband, I've been betrayed by my wife, because they reported me to the elders, or they told me to report myself. If I don't, they will. And that was a threat. I felt like it was blackmail. I can't stand it. But truthfully, before you actually become resentful towards them, before you actually feel any emotion, you gotta think, you gotta process this. You gotta think, what is it that motivated them to do this? What was their motive? What was their intent? Was it to harm you and protect the congregation, or was it to help you? Was it because they actually had a pure intent? They cared about you. They don't want you to die at Armageddon, and this is why they did this. See, the action itself of reporting to the elders, neither good or bad, is the reason why they did it that matters the most. And that's why you should find out why. See, I was actually mad at my wife. I was mad at my wife because she didn't report me. That's right. She did not report me to the elders, even though I was going through a really rough time. She knew I was studying the so-called apostate material. She knew that I was reading Crisis of Conscience and all the other books. And she didn't report me, and I was mad at her. Why? Because in my head, she saw me really struggle. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't focus. I was a real mess. That was like the worst mental state I have ever been. And she saw this. She saw that I was depressed. She saw that I was going through traumatic experience, literally religious trauma syndrome. If you look at all the symptoms, I had every single one without exception. And she saw this and she watched me and she didn't report me to the elders. And I felt like she didn't care about me, because elders supposed to be the ones that would help you if you are spiritually weak or if you're spiritually sick. And I felt sick. And I'm like, she doesn't care. She sees me struggling really badly and she doesn't even call for help. It's just like seeing somebody who's sick and you don't want to call for a doctor. That's how I felt. So I was actually mad at her for a short period of time, mad at her that she didn't call, she didn't reach out to anybody for help. She's like, well, you're dealing with this, it's your problem. You caused it yourself. You touched those books, you touched those YouTube videos, so now you're struggling, it's your fault. And that was all in my head. So I blamed her for actually not reporting me. And today I see it totally different. And one day I actually asked her, like, why didn't you report me to the elders? And then she said, well, I saw how much you struggled. I realized that the elders will not help you and they will make things worse. So I didn't want to make things worse, so I didn't call them. And when she said that, I'm like, oh, wow. She actually wanted the best thing for me. And she realized, she knew ahead of me, actually, even though she was at that time a believing witness, that the elders are not there to help you. They're not there to support you. Their intent is to keep the congregation clean. Their intent is to protect the flock from any gangrene that might happen, as they call it. They call it cancer. And if they see you, it doesn't matter how much you have done for the congregation, how many years you spent there, whether you were raised there. I don't care how many kingdom halls you've built or how much different opinion, and you start sharing that opinion with others. It could be as little as two people. It could be your wife and somebody else. And that's enough. That's enough to kick you out and you be removed. And the consequences of that sometimes are very dire. Not only psychologically, where some people go through traumatic experience with depression, leading sometimes even to suicide, but enormous amount of consequences for the whole family, because obviously they have to cut you off. They can't socialize with you. Now they loosened up a little bit by allowing people to say hi, how are you, and talk for a few seconds, pretending like they care, which in many cases is actually worse. So that's what it is. Before you decide how to feel about the situation, I would say this: find out why. Find out why they reported you, or find out why they didn't report you, how they felt about this, what was the reason and motive behind this. Once you know their intent, then you will feel that your resentment could melt or could be actually justified when they see you as this gangrene, as you call it, and you felt like you needed to be removed. Chances are that they are not best of your friends. And maybe it's better if you separate yourself from people who intentionally are trying to harm you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.